Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's training session with neuroflash. Good to have you all here. While there are still some people joining, let me quickly explain the tool that we're using to you. On the right side, you should see a chat where you can just type in any questions that you have throughout the training session. And I also already see a hello from Doris. Hi, Doris. Good to have you here. On the left side, you should see my shared screen and myself. And yeah, if you cannot hear me well or cannot see me well, just let me know in the chat and I'll try to optimize it. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's get right in. First, I want to start with a quick info. Maybe you were there last week when we had our Q&A session with our co-founder, Jonathan. I just wanted to let you know that the video or the recording of the session last week is available on our YouTube channel. Just type in neuroflash in YouTube and you will find the video should be the most recent video. So in case you have multiple questions regarding neuroflash, how that all works, there you get the best insights. So yeah, really recommend to check that out. Today, we don't have a Q&A session. Of course, you're open to ask me questions through the chat, but our focus today will mainly be on ad text. So how can we create ad copy with neuroflash? And for this, I'm going to first share with you our training objectives. Then I'm going to lead you through some basics of neuroflash and about the technology that we're using. Then I'm going to show you some examples of ad text that are out there that we can have generated in neuroflash. And then we're jumping into our app where I'm going to show you a quick tutorial of how everything is working, how it looks like, and then we're going to actually generate text together, ad copy together. And then lastly, we're going to finish up with some Q&A. If you have questions, I'll answer them then, and we're going to have a quick wrap up. My name is Lasse. I'm in the customer success team at neuroflash, and yeah, happy to have you here and happy that we're having this training together. Okay. I'm talking about learning objectives for today's training. So what should you expect to learn and take away? First, I want to present to you the basics of the AI copywriting process. So how is AI actually capable to generate copy, to generate text that we understand and that is of good quality? Secondly, I want you to gain insight into neuroflash and into the app interface. Showing you how easy it all is, how really good the AI is for you to generate text. And thirdly, I want you to learn how to write ad copy with neuroflash for different use cases. Okay, starting with our background, with the basics around AI and neuroflash and how copy text is actually generated. Neuroflash is based on a huge language model, which is called GPT-3. This language model was built and then scanned through 10% of the entire internet. So it scanned through social media, websites, and blogs. And by that, it collected an amount of 30 billion words. 30 billion words, it's a huge number. It's actually 10 times more words than all the words combined throughout the Wikipedia websites in all languages. So you get a feeling and an image how large this language model actually is. And how this language model with this huge amount of words works is that, like so many other things in AI and data science, it's more or less a probability calculation when it tries to complete and formulate and complete sentences. So let's take this example. Let's imagine that this technology, GPT-3, which neuroflash is based on, sees or reads the word good. What it then does is calculate what other words are most likely to follow after good from what the technology has read throughout the internet. And these words might be morning, day, or evening, dependent on the context. And this way it goes on and on and on, step by step, until it forms complete sentences. But here the most important question obviously is, how does the technology actually understand and know the context? And here's where neuroflash comes into play. Because with our AI copywriting process, we give the AI the needed context. And the way this is done is by a super easy input-output mechanism. So when you work in neuroflash, what you will always find and always see is a briefing template that usually looks something like this. Here, you first decide what kind of language do you want text. This could be German, how it's here. This could be English. We offer Spanish, Dutch, for example. So we offer, I think, 7 or 8 different languages right now. So you have a large choice here. Secondly, and very importantly, you select a text type. We at neuroflash work with text types. So whenever you want to generate text, you have to choose a text type. What does this mean? When we learn with the AI and have it learn and work with it, we define text types for it so that it knows what kind of text it's supposed to generate, what kind of length, what kind of structure. And this is what you choose when you choose these text types. And these text types, we currently have over 80 of them, are usually use cases that our users, so you recommend it to us. So I want to write a product description text, which is this here in this case. Sorry that this is in German. Product description text. So the AI knows how product description text usually look like on the internet, and therefore will generate text for you that has the same characteristics. And then the last two fields is where you actually give the content context, topic context. So what kind of product, what kind of service is neuroflash supposed to write about? What is the name of my brand, the name of my product? What is my target group? What are my keywords? So for example, when you want to create larger text with neuroflash, blog articles, for example, you should include keywords because you want your articles that you write with neuroflash to rank very high on Google. And this is why you should, of course, include your keywords into the briefing. And when you fill out that briefing and you click on create, neuroflash will create text for you in real time, text that is authentic and unique to you. So you don't have to worry about plagiarism, for example, and copyright. So every text that is generated with neuroflash belongs to you and is uniquely generated for you. All right. With this, I'm jumping from our basics to what we want to talk about today, which is ad text. And I'm going to show it to you in 2 categories. I had to delete one category for this webinar, which is Google Ads, because we're currently working on those text types and we found some bugs in there. And we're going to postpone the topic of Google Ads into a webinar maybe in September, or pretty sure in September. So if you're interested in Google Ads, don't miss out on that. It's probably going to be beginning to mid of September where we're going to talk about Google Ads. But I want to start with social media and specifically with Facebook, where you most often and usually find a lot of ads, right? And how are these ads usually structured? And what kind of text do they have? They usually have a primary text, which is a text that you see above the picture, above the image. This is a text that's usually 125 characters long, or shouldn't be longer, and it's a short description of the product or of the offer that you're promoting. Then you have a headline, which you see here in the middle. This headline is a very short 40-character text, which should focus on conversion. So here you should really have a short and snappy messaging that tells the viewer why he or she should click on that ad. And below that, you have a description. Recommended length is roughly about 50 characters. And the focus here should be on the USP of the product, or even tell the offer or the price of the product. And then secondly, whenever you browse on the internet, you also find a lot of display ads like this here from Adobe, floating around on your screen on the left, on the right, top, bottom, everywhere. So what you usually find on display ads that have text is a combination of short and snappy statements that usually include a short description of the product or of the offer, and always has a call to action, which you can see here. Most of the times communicate the price, so people know how expensive a certain product or service is, and then tell them to buy or register or whatever. And these two text types, so Facebook ads and display ads, we now want to generate with neuroflash. Yeah, and with this, I'm going to jump into our app in my Google browser. There are no questions right now, so I'm just going to continue. Right, what you see when you open up neuroflash in your Google browser or any browser is this overview of the AI writer. We're going to use this feature. We have other features, but in order to generate text, we're going to use our AI writer, as the name suggests. And what you would usually do when you want to create a new or start with a new project, start writing new text, is you would click on a new document. And when you click on that, the briefing template would pop up and super easy. If you, for example, and I want to quickly introduce you to this one, if you want to generate longer text, blog posts, for example, blog articles, we have this very cool blog post builder that will lead you through 3 or 4 steps. And within 2 to 5 minutes, you have the first draft of an entire blog article, which is really amazing just by giving some input. So I highly recommend you to check this out. For the purpose of this training, I already created a document, and I'm going to open this up. And what's going to happen usually when you open up a document is that here on the left side, or like for the most part of the screen, you find a text editor. This would usually be there wouldn't be any text here. Usually when you first open up a document, I just added some notes for this training. But this editor, yeah, just think of a really simplified Word document. You can just manually type text in here. You can change and edit the text, but also you would add the text that is generated by neuroflash, by our magic pen, into the text editor to further work on it. And also you can format the text, which you can see here, etc. And then on the right side, you have the toolbar. And here you can click on this magic pen, and what's going to open up is the briefing template that you similarly just saw in my presentation. As I have chosen the language English in the step where I first opened up this document, I'm not asked about the language again here, but what the briefing template first asks me is what kind of text type do I want to generate text for. And here, when you click on this dropdown, you see the 80+ different text types that we offer. But today we're going to stick with add copy, and I would suggest we just start with the text type Facebook add primary text. So the text above the image of a Facebook post. So let me quickly primary text. And I did some pre-work already because what the briefing asked me to do is in this step, or for this text type, to enter a product description. And I just went online and just went onto some online shop, and I saw this product description for a women's long sleeve. And secondly, the briefing asked me to add a brand. In this case, the name of the brand was 2/3, and the product name was Ronde Black Multicolor Naps. The last thing that you can always do when you finish up your briefing in neuroflash by clicking on advanced settings is decide on a tonality. So what kind of tonality should the text have that I'm about to generate? And here you can always choose select 2 options out of these 10 different tonalities. I just chose positive and excited. You could also do positive and powerful, for example. And that's everything we need. I can close this again, and now I can click on create, and the magic pen should generate text for me now in real time, text that is unique to me right now, text that you won't find like this anywhere on the internet, so you're free of plagiarism. So here you have different suggestions. Sometimes it's 5 suggestions, sometimes it's 2 suggestions. It shouldn't be 1, sometimes it's the case, but you can always click on refresh to get some new suggestions from neuroflash. So whenever you click on refresh, you should also get like really new suggestions. So you shouldn't get one text suggestion twice. You should always get a new recommendation from neuroflash. And here we got 2. And we can quickly read through it, but we can also say maybe this is the better one. And now here we have our primary text. The Ron, black multicolor naps is perfect for any occasion, made from recycled materials. This top is not only environmentally friendly, but also stylish and comfortable. With a V-neck and faux button-down front, this top can be dressed up or down to fit any occasion. So really nice text based on our product description, which fits to a primary text for an ad. Again, you could click on refresh to get some new suggestions, or you could also add this second suggestion and then combine the text components that you like best and combine them so you feel happy about your result. Okay, with this we can continue with the headline of our ad. And for this, I'm just gonna switch to Facebook ad headline. I can stick with the product description. What I recommend for text types which should generate shorter text is also to focus your briefing maybe on one specific product benefit, so that the AI does not have to try to combine a lot of product benefits to a very short text. This sometimes leads to some confusion for the AI. It works, but I would suggest the shorter your text, maybe the shorter your briefing as well. So maybe we could focus on these 2 sentences: a slim-fitting long-sleeve top, cut to hip length, designed in Barcelona, crafted in Portugal. We stick with the brand name and the product name, and we should now get some suggestions for headlines for our Facebook ad. And here again, now you see we have pretty many suggestions. We can just go through them. They all have a short length, which is good for a headline. Maybe we can stick with our product benefit that this V-neck is really suitable for any occasion. So we just maybe use this one here. Round, the perfect fit for any occasion, is a pretty good, pretty convincing headline, I would say. But you see, you have different kind of focus areas of these headlines. So always check those out and maybe even combine them, whatever you feel like. Let me quickly check. Katja's asking a question. What does the quantity of suggestions depend on? Sometimes when we work with the AI, work with GPT-3 and build the text types, we actually define how many different suggestions there should be. Sometimes you could say the more suggestions, the easier for the AI to generate text. So if, for example, you have a very complex, very long briefing for a very short kind of text type or text generation, you could expect to have not as many suggestions because the complexity of the briefing is maybe too big. But generally, you should always have at least 2. I would say the average is about 4 to 5. And one more use case, when you create really large kind of text types, for example, a blog article paragraph, which has, I don't know, 1,000 characters, you will only see 1 or maximum 2 kind of suggestions here, so that you can actually read through all of them. It's also like a kind of visibility and UI, UX kind of thing that we have here on the right. So if you have really long text generated, you would usually only see 1 suggestion and then use the refresh button to get another suggestion for the same kind of text type. I hope that answers your question, Katja. So yeah, we have a headline now. So now we're going over to our description. Katja gives me a thumbs up. That's good. So we go to Facebook link description. We could stick with our product description, of course, we could also here maybe focus on new offer for 39.99 euros. So we could change it up here in order to trigger the AI to work with the price. So whatever you feel like is the most important messaging here, just accordingly adapt your briefing to that. And right now, I can also not promise you that the AI will pick up on the price, but it should, if it's not shown right now, it should after we refresh. But you see, it works accordingly, gets the round black multicolor naps for only 39.99. You have different kind of suggestions. So feel free to play around with your briefing, give different focus areas in your briefing so that you actually tell and learn together with the AI on what's supposed to focus. And so in this way you can impact what you get so that the result is something that you're happy with. And now within 5 minutes or even less, if I hadn't talked so much, you now have a full Facebook ad with a longer primary text, a headline, and a description underneath with a focus on the price. Manually, you could say, okay, maybe I want this in the front so it doesn't get cut on smaller devices. But yeah, so it works that easy. Really important is how you put together your briefing, change focus areas to trigger new kind of ideas by the AI. But yeah, this worked pretty well, I would say. Now I wanted to jump to banner ads, right? And remember on those banner ads from Adobe that I showed you, you had a combination of different kind of short and snappy messaging text. And we should also expect this to happen right now. So we shouldn't expect a long text, but more 4 different kind of very short and snappy suggestions by the AI. So for this, I stay in the category of ad copy and go to banner ad text. And I could try to work with this product description again. I could maybe add something else. Maybe something like sustainable materials. I don't know. Maybe it works like this. Let's just try it out. Let's check it out. We can stick with the tonality. We can turn it on to excited. Why not? Again, we ask the same thing, product description and a brand product name. If we don't get good results, I will add some more text to the description later on, but just check it out if that works. And we got some suggestions by our magic pen. And what you see when you select one of those suggestions, and again here, if you concretize or give a different focus area in your product description, some other content should appear. But what I wanted to show you, when you copy this suggestion to your text editor, you also get like a real spacing. So not only do you have a text here, but you also get a recommendation from neuroflash where you can separate your messagings and your text so that you have those separated kind of text formats that you would usually use in a banner ad. So you could say, this is my first line, this is my second line, this is my call to action at the end, find your new favorite outfit of today. You could, of course, we have 2 other suggestions with the price. So you could either use, of course, this suggestion or combine them together, but you have those 3 to 4 different kind of short and snappy messages with different kind of objectives. So this is more information. This talks about the product, but also gives you like a kind of call to action. And this is now the call to action in the end that you would always find on a banner ad. So also, this is super easily possible on neuroflash, as you see. One thing that didn't happen, but I just wanted to let you know, going back to Facebook and social media in general, what you should see when you refresh for certain times is that you should also get recommended text that has emojis, for example. Emojis are usually recommended for text types that have something to do with social media, but you wouldn't find them on blog articles, for example. So don't be surprised that if you work on this again and you want to create a social media post, that you get recommended text suggestions with emojis, because emojis are a part of social media, and why shouldn't those be there, right? Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you regarding generating text for those two different ad copies. And in the end, I have some hacks for you. Let's put it to hacks, not tips, hacks. That should further help you not only writing ad copy, but also any other text in neuroflash. When you want to really want to generate text that is supposed to optimize your conversion, so trigger people to stop the scroll and click on the button, we have this text type called clickbait headlines, which is under the category of social media. And here, just enter the topic. You could just put chocolate. Let's stick with our example, and just click on create, and you should get some recommendations about, short, maybe not as short headlines that are supposed to stop the scroll and have people click on the ad on your content piece, on your text. So some of them really get quite clickbaity. Of course, this always depends on how you want to communicate, but you have the option. So something like, you won't believe how good this top looks on you, might be a bit too clickbaity in my taste. But if that's how you communicate, you have it suggested here, and you see a lot of suggestions. Then when you want to open up with a call to action, we have another text type called call to action CTA button. I'm not going to do this now, but here maybe you want to have an alternative for this kind of call to action. Here for the banner ad, again, just put the product description, put the verb that you want to have used, and put the offer. So $39.99 would be the offer, and you would get some more alternatives for a call to action. Apart from that, one text type that I can highly recommend, and you will find it when you open up the dropdown, it's under inspiration, is our text type Freestyle. With our text type Freestyle, you are not dependent on the text types that we already have, but you can create your own text type. So you can actually freestyle with it. So you could actually create any kind of text that you can think of. It could be song, lyrics for a song, for example. And then you can just decide on a topic that you want your song to be about. I don't know, could be flowers, I don't know, and the Freestyle tool will do whatever you tell it to do, right? And again, just try this out. It's really powerful. You could also say list of 10 vacation destinations. Anything is possible, pretty much. So just try this out. Later, I will tell you that how you can try neuroflash out for free. So this is one thing that I would for sure try out. And then lastly, I wanted to tell you another text type, last one, I promise, which is called associations. This is super important and can help you really well when you lack an understanding of what your target group, for example, wants to know or thinks about the product category, the topic that you are in. So if you sell vegan chocolate, what might people think about that category, and why is that important? If you know what your consumers, your target group, think about the category that you're in, you have a really cool source of inspiration for new content pieces, for Facebook ads, for example, where you can use the thoughts that people have about your category. And here you always get a list of positive and negative associations about the topic that you put in. And here, regarding vegan chocolate, positively, people think it's healthy, ethical, sustainable, delicious. Negatively, restrictive diet, unusual food choice. Or negatively, it could be expensive or maybe unhealthy. Maybe you should clarify why vegan chocolate is probably not as unhealthy as regular chocolate. So this is just a tip for you when you don't really know what kind of what content you want to play in your ad. Just use this kind of text type and you get ideas what your target group feels about your product category. With this, I'm at the end of the tutorial in the app. So we built our 2 different kinds of examples. I showed you some other hacks that you can use in neuroflash. There are numerous more, but just highlighting these 3. And before I jump into my last slides regarding the presentation, I'm going to open this up to some more questions, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And there's already one more by Katja asking, can you tell me how much text your users continue to edit after the text is AI generated? Are these suggestions taken over for the most part, or does this serve more as a creative suggestion? Good question. We always say that the work that you do in neuroflash, and I think I said this before, is 60 to 80%. So especially you get a better feeling about the quality of the text when you create longer text. What we did here, this was the longest text that we had generated. And I would argue that this text, there are no mistakes. It's well written, it's fluent. So you could just take it as is, and you wouldn't have a big problem. When you create longer text, so blog articles, for example, you come to other challenges. For example, when you, tell in a blog article something about digital marketing and some statistics about digital marketing, you probably want to have it fact checked, right? And those kind of statistics would be recommended for you by neuroflash, but without a source. So what you would have to do is really check the source. Is it actually true what neuroflash just wrote me? It should be true, because neuroflash doesn't just invent stuff, but takes it from the internet and rewrites it for you. But you should have it fact checked, add resources, add quotes. So this is the 20 to 30% that you will have to do. The longer the text, the more you should do just to check everything, combine text. But for shorter text, subject lines for emails, product description maybe, I would say 80% is done by neuroflash, 20% is done by you checking it, exchanging 1 or 2 words, maybe adding your keywords a bit more. But yeah, this would be my answer to this one. I mean, maybe to your last part of the question, or does it serve more as a creative suggestion? neuroflash is a tool for inspiration and creativity. So if you lack creativity, if you have just a barrier in front of you and you cannot write anything more, if you're a copywriter and it just just nothing comes out of you anymore, neuroflash is a tool for inspiration. And as you've seen, we have a lot of text types that are solely there for inspiration. But it's not only inspiration, it's also good content that you're getting, which is 80% of the work. And you just finish it up with the last 20%. Okay, because there are no more questions right now, let me quickly finish up my presentation. Just letting you know that, as I told you before, you have the option to use neuroflash for free. You can have 2,000 words generated each month without paying anything. For this, you could either just really quickly enter this URL in your browser, or just go on our website and you will quickly find the way to log in, and I'm later going to share another link to that. So this is no problem. Just feel free to check it out if you are not a user already. And then lastly, one more recommendation from my side. Of course, we're gonna continue to have these kind of webinars. Sometimes it's going to be tutorials like today, where I'm going to lead through the app with different focus topics every single week. And sometimes we invite some external experts that already use neuroflash for their purpose. So there's a bit of a mixture going on these kind of webinars. You will find information about upcoming webinars on our website. There's a tab on the top saying webinars or trainings, and there you find the schedule for the next weeks. The next training will be in 2 weeks, not next week, but in 2 weeks. So feel free to join again. And lastly, I would be really happy if you could, because I'm pretty much at the end of the webinar today, I would be really happy if you could give me and us feedback on this format, on this webinar format. How did you like it today? And more importantly, do you have any topics that you would like to discuss in upcoming webinars? So anything that you want to work on neuroflash and you haven't fully understood yet, please let us know through the survey. I would be really happy about this. And then lastly, after you all clicked on this link for the survey, it's only going to take you 2 or 3 minutes max. Another quick link, and this will lead you to the sign up site page on our website, with which you can just test neuroflash out for free with your 2,000 words per month, and you will get 2,000 new words every single month. So yeah, looking forward to welcome you in neuroflash. I would highly motivate you to just try it out to see if it's something for you. And yeah, if there's not any more questions, and I don't see any more, thanks for your attention. I hope that you did learn some stuff today, and yeah, hope to see you next time. Have a great evening, and wherever you are, maybe great noon, lunch, I don't know. And yeah, see you next time. Bye-bye.